In the constant rush of everyday life, the mind drowns in worries about the future and regrets from the past. The present, often forgotten, is the only treasure we truly possess. The real awakening happens when we recognize the value of simply being here, now. Waking up to the conscious act of being is like peeling away the layers of fog that separate us from reality. The present isn't just a point in time, it's a doorway to a deeper connection with life, where we find peace and clarity. By fully living in the present, we discover that the past and future lose their hold on us. This moment, no matter how simple it seems, is the only one we have. When the mind is freed from distractions, it aligns with the essence of being. And in this way, every moment becomes an opportunity for renewal, where each breath transforms into an act of creation. The practice of mindful walking. Mindful walking is more than just moving from one place to another. It's an invitation to reconnect with the world around you, feeling the breeze, noticing the sounds and colors that often go unnoticed. Every step is a chance to ground yourself in the present. The mind, always eager to label and judge, starts to relax as we let go of the need to classify every thought and sensation. Allowing things to be as they are, without the weight of interpretation, creates space for pure observation. A state of being, not doing. When we listen to the sounds of the world without the burden of thought, we find a rare peace. This practice teaches us to hear and see with the heart, free from the lenses of judgment. Each walk becomes a moving meditation, where inner silence reveals hidden truths. Letting go and acceptance. The human mind has a habit of categorizing feelings and experiences, labeling them as good or bad. However, it's this very act of labeling that traps us in a cycle of suffering. Letting go invites us to observe emotions without clinging to them, allowing them to flow naturally, like clouds in the sky. Accepting life's circumstances, whatever they may be, is an act of profound freedom. Saying yes to what is, without resistance, connects us to a serenity that doesn't rely on external conditions. It's as if, by ceasing to fight the flow of life, we discover a new level of peace. This acceptance creates space for inner calm, where we find true freedom. The path to serenity isn't about changing what happens around us, but about changing how we relate to those experiences. When we embrace life with acceptance, we realize there's no struggle, only a deep sense of being. The journey of surrendering to the present moment. Surrendering to the present moment means letting go of the constant need to understand or control everything around us. Often, the peace we seek only emerges when we stop resisting the natural unfolding of life. It's not weakness, but wisdom, to realize that not everything needs to be understood. By allowing life to unfold at its own pace, we start to see the beauty in the simplicity of just being. Like a river that flows effortlessly, surrendering to the now teaches us to trust the natural course of events. This trust frees us from the chains of anxiety. The journey isn't about reaching a destination but about fully living in each step. And as we release the need for control, we find an inner peace that's unshakable. When life is allowed to flow without interference, it surprises us with its wisdom. Breaking free from the chains of attachment. Attachment, often mistaken for love or necessity, is one of the main sources of suffering. When we cling to objects, people, or ideas, we create barriers that prevent us from experiencing true freedom. Detachment is the path to simplicity, where being is no longer conditioned by possessions or expectations. Seeking external validation, whether through recognition or approval, keeps us trapped in a never-ending cycle of dissatisfaction. When we free ourselves from this pursuit, we find a sense of contentment that comes from within. It's like releasing a rope that was holding us back, allowing us to breathe freely. Everything in life is impermanent. Just as seasons change, so do circumstances. Embracing this truth allows us to live with lightness, accepting the transient nature of all things. Simplicity becomes a refuge, where we find peace by letting go of what holds us captive. Observing and witnessing thoughts. The human mind is a fertile ground for the constant noise of thoughts. They arise without warning, attempting to distract us from the essence of the present moment. However, when we become observers rather than participants, these thoughts lose their power over us. Observing without judgment is the key to inner peace. Distancing ourselves from thoughts is like watching a movie without getting emotionally involved. By witnessing these thoughts with detachment, we start to realize that we are not our thoughts. They come and go, but the essence of our being remains undisturbed and serene. This practice connects us with the beauty of pure presence. By observing the flow of thoughts without reacting to them, we align ourselves with life in a deeper, more authentic way. It is in this state of observation that we find the true power of the present moment. The essence of now. The present moment is complete in itself. It lacks nothing to be perfect, because in its essence lies the fullness of being. When we allow the now to unfold without trying to change it, we discover a serenity that transcends any mental understanding. The present is the only place where life truly happens. Allowing life to flow without interference is like letting go of the reins of a wild horse and watching its majesty in freedom. When the mind quiets and control is abandoned, we are gifted with the peace we have been searching for. Wholeness is not in some distant future but in the simplicity of being present. By finding serenity beyond understanding, we discover that the mystery of now is infinite. Life unfolds like an intricate tapestry, where every thread has its purpose, and our role is simply to appreciate the beauty of its creation. The depth of the present is an invitation to contemplation and acceptance. The truth about suffering. Suffering arises when we hold on to rigid thoughts, when we cling to the idea that things should be a certain way. This belief limits our experience and prevents us from seeing reality as it truly is. At its core, suffering is a creation of the mind, which attaches itself to illusions. When we detach from these thoughts, we begin to see that our essence goes beyond what we think or feel. We are something greater, something that can't be confined by the limitations of thought. Identifying with this deeper essence, rather than the ego, frees us from the pain that mental attachment creates. Immersing ourselves in the present moment is the path to this freedom. When we are fully present, suffering loses its grip on us. Each moment becomes an opportunity to reconnect with the deeper truth of our being, where peace and freedom lie beyond our understanding. The role of the ego in the human experience. The ego constantly seeks control, creating illusions of separation and lack. It wants to shape the world in its image, believing that only then will it find peace. But ironically, this endless quest for control is what fuels inner chaos. Silence, on the other hand, is the gateway to a sacred dimension beyond the ego. When we quiet the noise of the ego, a new reality begins to emerge, one where there is no need to be something or someone. In this space, a subtle transformation takes place, where excessive thinking loses its power, and the true essence of being reveals itself. This transformation leads to a deep connection with everything around us. Letting go of excessive thought doesn't mean stopping thought altogether, but rather recognizing that we are not our thoughts. The ego, with its illusions and desires, can be set aside, allowing our inner wisdom to guide us. In this state, life flows with simplicity and ease. Living in the present. The simplicity of the present moment reveals the true nature of our being. When we let go of the mind's complications and allow ourselves to be fully present, we start to see life with fresh eyes. Intimacy with our own being, free from external distractions, becomes the source of genuine satisfaction and contentment. Being attentive in each moment is like watching a delicate dance between the self and the world. Mindfulness brings us into a deeper connection with ourselves and everything around us. In this state, life is no longer just a series of events, it becomes a rich experience full of subtle meaning. Living in the present teaches us that happiness isn't a destination but is found in every step we take. By being present, we discover that each moment holds infinite depth, where the true nature of our being manifests in its purest and most serene form. Acceptance and surrender. Letting go of control and trusting in the wisdom of the universe is one of the bravest acts we can perform. Acceptance doesn't mean resignation, it's a deep understanding that everything is unfolding according to a greater plan, one beyond our comprehension. By practicing this surrender, we allow life to flow with less resistance and more grace. Living without expectations frees us from anxiety and frustration. When we stop trying to shape the future and simply accept what the present offers, we find a peace that transcends circumstances. It's as if life, when left to its own rhythm, reveals its mysteries and guides us naturally. Meditation is a powerful tool for reconnecting with this inner wisdom. When we quiet the mind and allow ourselves to be fully present, we realize that surrender is not an act of loss, but of gain. By letting go, we create space for the universe to surprise us with its profound intelligence. Facing uncertainty. Life is full of mysteries and uncertainties, and it's precisely this unpredictability that makes it so beautiful. When we open ourselves to the complexity of existence, we are invited to explore doubts and challenges with curiosity instead of fear. Every uncertainty is a door to new possibilities. Surrendering to uncertainty allows us to experience life with a lightness that once seemed unattainable. Instead of resisting the unknown, we embrace the natural flow of events, creating room for a higher intelligence to work in our lives. It's an invitation to trust in something bigger than ourselves. In this space of surrender, we find true freedom. Uncertainty ceases to be an enemy and becomes an ally, guiding us down paths we could never have predicted. By facing the unknown with courage and openness, we discover a depth in life that cannot be controlled, only experienced. Right action and awareness. In Buddhism, right action goes beyond just doing good, it's about acting with full awareness and intention, transcending the ego. When we act without the burden of self-preservation or the desire for recognition, we tap into a higher wisdom that guides our steps with precision and harmony. Our actions then align with the true essence of being. Transcending the ego is a continuous process of humility, where we let go of the need to control and allow life to guide us. This higher wisdom, accessed through surrender, connects us to something greater than ourselves. Right action arises naturally when we are in tune with this inner force. True transformation happens when we learn to act from this place of surrender, trust, and humility. In this state, life flows effortlessly, and our decisions become expressions of universal wisdom, leading us on a path of growth and discovery. Observing the present moment. The habit of labeling and judging every experience distances us from true happiness. When we label the present moment, we create resistance and tension, preventing life from flowing naturally. The simple act of observing, without trying to change anything, teaches us to let the present be as it is. Observing inner resistance is like watching a river trying to flow upstream. By allowing the resistance to dissolve, we make space for life's deeper lessons to emerge. When we let the moment unfold without imposing our will, we experience a rare and precious freedom. This practice of surrender transforms our sense of self. When we release the need to mold life in our favor, we open the door to a new way of being, where acceptance and presence form the foundation of our experience. In this way, life unfolds with an unexpected grace. Throughout this journey, we learn to let go of the ego and allow the universal intelligence to manifest in our lives. This wisdom isn't found in books or through teachers, but in the quiet within, where the true essence of being resides. By releasing control and surrendering to the flow of life, we discover a new dimension of peace. Now, I invite you to reflect. How would your life change if you truly let go of expectations and allowed yourself to live fully in the present? What transformations might unfold by trusting the wisdom life already has to offer? Share your experiences in the comments. Let's explore this path of self-discovery together. If this content resonated with you, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications to continue receiving deep insights like these. Your journey of growth is just beginning, and there's so much more to discover.